Welcome back to the channel where we mix things up, and today I'm going to be doing my tier list maker for the 2020 to 2021 NBA duos from these tiers I have created right now. So if you like these tier lists, make sure to drop a like if you like the videos, subscribe for constant NBA content, and comment down below any other tier list makers you want to see on this channel. So just looking at these sections, we have title favorites, so a team that I would have been able to go to at least, I would say, the conference finals, or for sure the finals. Title contenders who have a shot at it, but aren't exactly going to, but you're not exactly sure. Then punch them into the playoffs. Oh, is this spelled wrong? Excuse that, but that's basically they're making the playoffs, no doubt. That can be a team like consistent playoff team. The in and out drive through will be so if you go to in and out, you understand that. But it's just you go in the play-in tournament and out in the first round. So this is about a 7th to 10th seed around there. The team that will be in the play-in tournament and heading to the draft. A team that will be in the lottery and just not good with this duo. So let's begin. And let's do this. So we first start off with the Philadelphia 76ers in Joel Embiid and Ben Simmons. This is a tough one. I think the title favorites, I think I'm going to do it just for a bit. For just some of them. This is definitely a tough one. Joel Embiid was my MVP before he got injured. He still has a very good shot, but it's not as good, missing about 2 weeks when he already load manages on a couple games. Ben Simmons is an all-star, and I have him for Defensive Player of the Year currently. Now, are they title favorites? I personally have the Sixers as the second best team in the Eastern Conference, with the other team I will be talking about soon. Oh, and also some of these might be incorrect because this was made in the start of the season. So, for example, you have James Harden and John Wall on the Rockets. So I will put James Harden on the Nets, which we will talk about later. This is a tough one. I mean, I think they can definitely win a championship. Okay, I'm putting them as title favorites. Okay, I can definitely see them in title contenders, but just that when you have an MVP guy and a Defensive Player of the Year All-Star guy, I think they're title favorites. Next, we got the Blazers with CJ and Dame. Personally, I don't think this duo should be really together. I think they should have split them up like a couple years ago, mainly because they play so similar to each other, and sometimes in your two stars you want some diversity so they can do more things, while both of these guys are amazing scorers. CJ having his best season, Dame I think is a top 3 MVP candidate, but they're not the best on defense, and defense has been and there's a main reason for why the Blazers defense hasn't been good, and it's CJ and Dame. I will put them in punch them in the playoffs. I mean, they can definitely go far. I mean, they, of course, made the Western Conference Finals once. But okay. It's just this duo. So you have a all-star caliber, and he's going to make first team this year, probably. Okay, I might move them around. Okay, I'm going to put them in okay. I think CJ really takes them down a little bit. Punch them in the playoffs for now. Next, we have Chris Middleton and Giannis. Oh, man, these are so tough. I think I'm going title contenders. I think I'm only going to have 4 title favorites in that section, which you probably might know who they are. But I think this duo, Giannis is amazing. But in the playoffs, in the half-court offense, he's not as good. Chris Middleton is a good shot maker, shoots 50, 40, 90. But is it enough? As a second option, it matters what the rest of your team is. I mean, they do have Drew Holiday, Brooke Lopez, Dante DiVincenzo, PJ Tucker, who they recently acquired. I think the Bucks are so interesting. I think a big part is Mike Budenholzer being really overrated and just not working in the playoffs. Wherever he goes, I'm going to have them title contenders for now, but I think I can change all of these around. Next, we got the Bulls heading to the draft. I personally think that the second best player should be Thaddeus Young. I'm sure all Bulls fans would agree with me. Looking at stat wise, Larry Markkinen does look like the second best player, but impact on both ends, it's Thaddeus Young. But just looking at these two, Zach Levine is an all-star. Larry Markkinen has been a lot better, especially from three-point land, but it has been in a short sample size with him getting injured. He's still an amazing player. I mean, I, I don't know if his future is that good with him basically not being able to guard fours and not being strong enough. Basically, not being able to guard fours or fives. So, which position does he play? It's tough to say, but for now, I mean, they are currently in the in and out drive through. Just you have an all star guy in Zach Levine. Oh, God, these are so tough. Again, I'm having them in the in and out drive through. There's going to be 8 teams in here because 4 teams make the playing tournament. I'll put them there for now, but it might change. Next, Cavs. This should be Darius Garland and Colin Sexton. If it is that, it's still heading to the draft. They're an extremely young core with Jared Allen, Isaac Okoro, and they have a lot of vets that they can move that don't really have value, though, so that's a pretty big problem. But I like the future of the Cavs, especially if they attain a top pick, potentially get a Jalen Suggs, though I don't know if they need another point guard, or a Jonathan Kuminga, probably not Evan Mobley because they have Allen, but I think they are going to be heading to the draft, and I think they're fine with that. Next, Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum. Okay, this might be a bit controversial, but I have them in the title contenders, mainly because this is a duo. The Celtics team, I would punch them in the playoffs, and I can even see someone put in and out drive through, but the only reason why the Celtics are afloat is because of this duo. And if you remove this duo, they're heading to the draft. They're Cade Cunningham worthy. But just this team keeps them so well. Kemba not playing in a consistent basis. Marcus Smart just got hurt and has came back. Hasn't been the Marcus Smart we know. Robert Williams, Semi Ojeleye, Aaron Nesmith, Peyton Pritchard, just inexperienced guys that still haven't showed much in the NBA. But these are 2 all-stars. Jaylen Brown was on fire in the beginning, has kind of cooled down right now, and then Tatum has been a bit worse because he got the virus, though that isn't really his problem. But as a duo, they're title contenders. As a team, probably in and out drive through. Next, we have Paul George and Kawhi Leonard, title favorites. Yeah, I mean, you probably gotta call them like the flippers because they're frauds, but I still think that this duo. Okay, now the playoffs is a different story, though. Okay, it's tough to say. Kawhi is a top. I would say it's LeBron, in my opinion. LeBron 1, KD 2, Kawhi 3, Curry 4, Giannis 5, something around that ballpark. I think those are the top 5 players, no question, or in my opinion. But Kawhi's so good. Now, you don't know if you're going to get a playoff P or pandemic P / way off P, which those nicknames are so good, but it's still Paul George just chokes in the playoffs. You really wish he was more consistent, but I do think that they still have a good shot at making the finals, but they need a point guard, no doubt. Next, we have John Marin and Jaron Jackson Jr. Triple J hasn't played much this season, mainly because of that torn meniscus he got in the bubble, which is really sad to see. I'm glad them in the in and out drive through for now. Okay, maybe I'll move them down looking at the, I'll see. But Jaron, I think he is a little bit overrated, but still, he's just a winning player. Just because you're overrated does not mean you're a bad player. I don't think many people realize that, but an amazing talent. I just don't really see him as a future MVP level, multiple-time All-Star, All-NBA guy, no question. Jaron had the potential to be basically the greatest defender of all time, but just hasn't been healthy. He can stretch the floor, and just that modern big man that you want, but he needs to stay healthy. Next, John Collins and Trey Young. In and out drive through. Yeah, I can't have them and punch them in the playoffs. This duo is way better than that duo. I think that they are on the same level as the Bulls. I do think that Zach Levine, I guess Zach Levine and Trey are close. I maybe a slight edge to Levine. I would give Collins is better than Markkinen. So they're about the same level. They're currently like the 5th seed. They've won 6 games in a row, though they have had a really easy schedule. So, I mean, they did beat the Lakers, so that's very impressive. But LeBron was out, Anthony Davis was out. But yeah, this duo is still amazing, still very young. Hopefully they re-sign Collins if it's not a max contract. But right now, in and out draft due. Next, Bammy added a Butler. Yeah, that's their names combined. Punch them in the playoffs. I wouldn't say they're title contenders. I would say the main reason they made the finals last year is because of the team. You have Goran Dragic, Duncan Robinson, Tyler Hero, and just a bunch of players that fit well together. But just this duo strictly, punch them into the playoffs, no doubt. I wouldn't say they're title contenders. I mean, this is basically two All-Stars. I mean, I guess you could say them on the same level as Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum. But for now, I'm going to have them and punch them in the playoffs. I might move them up. This is not my official list, but they're amazing on both ends. Next, LaMelo Ball and Gordon Hayward heading to the draft. I mean, I already have 3. Looking at these guys, okay, I'll see. I might change it around. But LaMelo Ball, my rookie of the year, I did a poll recently. 75% out of like 120 votes said LaMelo Ball is a rookie of the year. I don't think it's a question, though Anthony Edwards has been so good recently. Just as a playmaker, being able to knock down threes, going aggressive around the paint. And Hayward, we all thought that was a bad contract. And yes, it still is a bad contract. But this year, strictly, he's been living up to it. He's been doing everything. I do wish he could stay a bit more healthy, but at least he's staying healthier than he was in Boston. In and out drive through, no doubt. Next, the Jazz. Oh, okay. I have to remember this is a duo. And this is 2 All-Stars. And you could say, okay, let's think about it. It's rather title contenders or punch them in the playoffs. It's, okay. Let's see. I would probably, would you have Mitchell or Gobert? Mitchell and Gobert? Or Dame and CJ? I wish I can do a poll, but I don't have enough time right now. I think it's really close. I gotta punch them in the playoffs. I mean, okay, there's a good chance I'll move them up. But right now, punch them in the playoffs. They're just an amazing duo on both ends. They are the 1 seed, though I do think it's more about, I mean, they're having like the same season as they had before. Just Mike Conley having a bounce back season. Boyan's been on fire. Jingly Joe is goated. Royce O'Neal has been really good. Jordan Clarkson, 6th man of the year. I just think that this team is overall better. Mitchell and Gobert have been playing at their standards, and I think that's good, but I don't know if it's enough. I think it's more about the team, why they're like on the title contenders team as a team. Next, we have Fox and Buddy. I would say it was Fox and Tyrese heading to the draft. They're still a young duo. They're nowhere close to the in and out drive through yet. I do think that this is a bright core with them fitting well, pretty well. I mean, they can both facilitate. I mean, they're not exactly the best shooters, but Fox with the quickness, Tyrese with the just all-around play. And they're also good defenders. Next, RJ and Mitchell Robinson. It will be RJ and Julius Randle. And in our drive-thru, you have an all-star and an underrated player? I gotta go in our drive-thru. I mean, they're basically in the playoffs. They might be the 7th or 8th seed. The bottom of the East is very competitive. The East playoffs is competitive. Randall's an all-star who has just been so much better with Tom Thibodeau. RJ has shown solid development that you like to see on both ends of the floor, that's what you want to see from a guy who's 21. So right now, in and out drive through. LeBron and AD, title favorites. I wish they can stay a bit more healthy, but I guess we kind of expected this with having such a short offseason. LeBron got hurt today. So sad to see. Anthony Davis been out with that Achilles thing. As long as they're healthy in the playoffs, they're fine. They don't really care about the first round. Oh, the playoff seeding. They just need to stay healthy for the playoffs. Oh, it's going to be a long video. Next, we have Vooch and Evan Fournier. I mean, no, they're not in and out drive-through level. I would say that if you look at this, Vooch and Randall are about the same. Fournier and RJ, I mean, that's about the same. But then, let's see. I gotta go heading to the draft. Okay, I think I might have to add another tier. I mean, okay, let's think about it. Yeah, I do think they're heading to the draft. Vooch is an all-star, but I don't think Evan Fournier is good enough to just a solid duo. I mean, if it's like an A, B, C, D, I would put them in the C tier or a C plus tier. But strictly off of these five, I can't have them in the in and out draft through with Mellow and Hayward. Do think they're better. John Collins and Trey, I do think they're better. I mean, okay, I'm probably gonna have more than four teams in the in and out drive through. Okay, I'm gonna put them for right now. For now, I'll see later. Next, we have Luca and Tingus Pingus. Heading to the draft. No, not heading to the draft. In and out drive through. Okay, okay. Are we assuming they're fully healthy? If they're fully healthy, punch them in the playoffs. Though, I mean, Luca, Dame is better. CJ is better than Tingus Pingus. Luca Mitchell, Luca is better. Rudy is better than Porzingis. Oh, this is tough. Okay, right now I'm gonna have them in this tier. Punch them in the playoffs. I mean, they're currently the 8th seed. Okay, I'll review it later. Next, we have Katie, and this is gonna say Kyrie, but it's actually Harden. I mean, if it was still Kyrie, they're still one of the title favorites. Katie, the second best player in the world, in my opinion. Harden has been playing at an MVP level with KD being out. He's just been so good as a facilitator, taking a good balance between facilitating and taking like ISO like he did in Houston. But I don't think this really needs an explanation. Next, Jokic and Jamal Murray. Are they title contenders? I think they might. Okay, let's think about it. But okay, Jokic and Embiid are about the same level. Ben Simmons is better than Jamal Murray. Okay. Jokic and Dame are about the same, but CJ is better than Jamal Murray. Is he? Okay, I think so. Jokic is better than Luca. Jamal Murray is better than Tingus Pingus. Rudy, okay. This is gonna be a tough one. I know we have quite a bit of Nuggets fans in the community. You probably want to put them in title favorites, but I mean, they're your favorite team, so it makes sense. For now, punch them in the playoffs, though I can see them in title contenders. Okay, I'm thinking about maybe moving Dame and CJ up. I'm thinking about moving all these up, but for now, punch them in the playoffs. Next, Brogdon and Sabonis. In and out drive through. Oh man, I'm gonna have a lot of in and out drive through in the Eastern Conference. But I do think that's okay because there's just been so many mediocre just Eastern Conference teams. So I think that is justified. Why there's so many teams. It's really competitive. Sabonis is an all-star. Brogdon was playing at an all-star level in the beginning. He has fallen off. I do think that Brogdon is better off the ball rather than creating his own shot. He can still do that, but every play, I don't think so. Zion and BI, and then I'll drive through. We currently have 2 Western Conference teams. Yeah, Zion an all-star, so explosive, averaging like 24 points on a crazy efficiency. BI, he's just so smooth. I mean, his mid-range, he's just been so much better in New Orleans, all-star caliber. Definitely in and out drive-through. Okay, Blake and D-Rose, so it's actually going to be Jeremy Grant and Sadiq Bey. I mean, it's still going to be heading to the draft. They're going for Cade Cunningham. Kyle Lowry and Pascal Siakam. This is a tough one. Do I want to put them in the in-and-out drive-through? Because Kyle Lowry is going to be like, okay, might as well Pascal Siakam you get. Do you get that All-NBA second team Pascal Siakam? Or do you get the guy who gets clamped in the playoffs, or the 2020 playoffs? Okay, let's think about it. Kyle Lowry, Zach Levine is better than Kyle Lowry, but I do think that Pascal is much better than Lowry Markkanen. Trey and Kyle Lowry, I would say they're about the same. I would say Pascal, I guess, is John Collins level. Okay, I gotta have them in and out drive through right now. I can't have them in the Bam and Jimmy section because they just haven't been winning enough. I do know that their team isn't as good as a couple years ago. Okay, I'll think about changing this soon. Next, so John Wall, and I'm just going to put Christian Wood. Where do I put this? so many in and out drive-throughs. I mean, there's just so many mediocre teams. I gotta put them in and out drive-through. I mean, you got two 20-point per game scorers. Christian Wood has been an absolute beast. I know they're on a 19-game losing streak, but I just think that their team is not good. But strictly as a duo of Christian Wood and John Wall, I think that is playing tournament level. Like when they were fully healthy, they were in the playoffs of playing tournament around. Next we have so I'm gonna do DeMar and DeJounte. I gotta do them in the in-and-out drive-through too. Oh man, there's so many just decent teams. I wouldn't punch them in the playoffs. They're definitely not on this level. But DeMar, all-star caliber guy, I think he should have made it over Mike Conley. Just ignore LaMarcus Aldridge. DeJounte Murray, solid on, really good on both ends. Has fixed his three-point shot, which is really big. For now, in-and-out drive-through. Next, Chris Paul and Devin Booker. Oh man, do I punch them in the playoffs? I have them as the same level as I have them as the same level as Dame and CJ. I have these duos on the same level. Yeah, I think I do. Oh, I guess these four, because there's either one superstar with Luka and Dame, or Jokic, and then there's the Suns and the Jazz with two all-stars. But then the superstars have an all-star caliber player, but aren't all-stars. Oh, this is going to be so tough to say. I do think that punch them in the playoffs is the Mavericks, because Pingus isn't healthy. But these four are interesting. I'll see about that later. Al Horford and Shea heading to the draft. I can't say they're in and out drive-through. I know they've been really good. I mean, they have 19 more wins than I expected. Or it might be 17. But Shea is an absolute stud. This team hopefully gets Cade Cunningham, Jalen Suggs, Evan Mobley. That would be so big. I would say it might be Lou Dort as the second best player, but for now, Al Horford is fine. Next, Curry and Wiggins. Do I have to punch them in the playoffs? I mean, they're currently I think the 9th seed or the 8th seed. I mean, they won today. Jordan Poole had a big night. Oh, this is going to be a tough one. Heading to the in-and-out drive-through, I mean, I don't have... you have a superstar, you have to punch them in the playoffs. None of these guys are superstars, and the moment you have a superstar, they're immediately in punch them in the playoffs. Wiggins has been a lot better on both ends, been hitting his three-point shots, recently dropped 40 points. That's what you'd like to see. Next, Russ and Bradley Beal. Okay. It's Russ and Bradley Beal. Strictly Russ and Bradley Beal. It's not Ish Smith, Thomas Bryant, Davis Bertans. It's just this duo. Bradley Beal is a borderline superstar. Russell Westbrook is still an all-star caliber player. But is it enough? Not now. I wouldn't say so. Okay, and then finally, Kat and D'Lo. If they can stay healthy, they're the in-and-out drive-through too. I know I have so many in-and-out drive-through guys, but I think just at the league, there's a lot of just solid teams that have a shot in the playoffs. So I'm going to review it. I think I'm going to make a couple changes, but I'll be back. So, reviewing this list, I'm going to make a couple of changes. I mean, okay. I think that these can change quite a bit. I think that there's a bunch of them that you can move, and no matter what, I'm not going to make everyone happy. So I think I am going to move up Nikola Jokic and Jamal Murray to title contenders. Mainly because you have Jokic, who is basically a top 2 MVP candidate now, especially with LeBron and Embiid being out. And Jamal Murray can heat up, as we saw in the playoffs, for 30, 40, or even 50 sometimes. So I do think they're in title contenders. I can see if you put Mitchell and Rudy in title contenders. Bam and Jimmy in title contenders. Even Chris Paul and Booker, or even Dame and CJ. I'm going to leave them and punch them in the playoffs for now. Okay, let's see. So, title favorites, Joel Embiid, Ben Simmons, Paul George, Kawhi, LeBron, AD, KD, Harden. I'm cool with this. Title contenders, Giannis and Chris Middleton. I think a lot of people won't be happy about that one, but I just think that. Jaylen and Jason, Jokic and Jamal, punch them in the playoffs. CJ, Dame, this Booker, Chris Paul, Mitchell, Rudy, Jimmy, Bammy added a Butler. Yeah. Luka and Tingus Pingus, Curry and Wiggins. I mean, I guess I can see if you put any of these four, like I said, up here. But for now, I'm gonna have them here. I won't be mad if you put any of these in title contenders. Then in our draft through the Raptors, I just won't say their names. Raptors, Bulls, Grizzlies, Hawks, Hornets, Knicks, Magic, Pacers, Pelicans, Rockets. That's just a duo for the Rockets, just saying. Spurs, Wizards, and Wolves. And heading to the draft, the Cavs, Kings, Pistons, and Thunder. So yeah, I think I'm cool with this list. There's probably a couple things that you would change, but this is all my opinion. Comment down below what you would change. I don't expect everyone to be happy with this list, but hopefully that like some of them are similar to yours. If they're one tier off, I won't be mad if you change it. But I mean, I guess. But yeah, so that's just going to be my opinion. Make sure to subscribe to the channel, like the videos, comment down below your thoughts, like I said, and I'll see you on next time.